Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Maths Genius Club brought to you by the Education Support Forum. So, today we're going to be talking about an interesting topic that takes into consideration the idea of us having to learn mathematics, and also living in a network society. As you know, nowadays the biggest companies are platforms, your Facebooks, your Ubers, your Twitters, Amazon. So we're saying, how can we use mathematical thinking for problem solving success in a network society? That is the title, right? It's quite a lengthy one, but I'll repeat it again. Mathematical thinking for problem solving success in a network society. So we're saying, how can you use the knowledge, the thinking that you learned in mathematics to be able to thrive in a network society? Because nowadays everything is turning into platforms, and platform businesses are flourishing. So it means that we have to find our way of making the most of it, because that is the business model that is there. Okay, so my name is Edzai, and I'm from MathsG. So you can get us on mathsg.com. I think you can see it on the screen. And let's see what we got today. Right. So let's start from the beginning. Evolution, right? If you've heard of Homo naledi, that was found in South Africa a few years back, which is estimated to be 2 million years old. So we're saying we have evolved a lot as people, and the process hasn't stopped, we're still going on. If you take somebody from the 60s, 70s and compare them in terms of habits, in terms of consumption habits, in terms of how they think, the knowledge, behavior patterns, everything has changed. So we are here now, and we are in a network society. So we need to be able to customize our thinking for our reality and not be stuck to some thinking that was formulated back in the 1800s, Yeah. So it's important that we all understand that we have to mutate with our reality as well. Yeah. So I put in a nice quote here which says that we started from the bottom, now we're here. Okay. The bottom is where we're still Homo naledi, and now we are who we are. So yeah, that's a Drake reference, right? Okay, so now everybody wants to succeed. It's important. And success means different things to different people. But to be successful, I believe that whatever success is to you, you have to solve some problems somewhere. So it's a case of being able to solve problems and being able to make decisions, right? So those are the two skills that I believe that given any scenario on this earth, if you can solve problems and you can make the optimal decision, the best decision under the circumstance, then I think you will succeed. Yeah, it's true, It's true. So imagine that your whole life you've made the best possible decision at any given time. Then that means that you're superhuman, right? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, looking at Maslow, this guy was on point when he actually spoke about the hierarchy of needs. So yeah, you want to have those physiological needs. You want safety, love, and belonging, self-esteem, self-actualization. And the interesting part is that the stuff that Homo naledi craved for when he was living in the cave and all that, it's the same stuff that we still crave for up to today. Because you find, if you look at the guys who have come up with successful platforms like Facebook, they speak to these fundamental human needs. You find people want to self-actualize. They want to have as many followers as possible. They want to be influential. They want to have power. They want to be at the top of the game, basically. And you find people are now deriving self-esteem from and respect from their number of followers, their influence, their influence title on these platforms as well, right? And also you find people are forming groups. People are forming these little hive minds within those social platforms, right? And all people are looking for is love, actually, you know. I mean, a platform like Facebook, for example, it has just scaled gossiping. It has scaled sharing love and affection and belonging to certain tribe. You know, now the tribe can be universal. You know, you're not just limited by geography. So you find successful platforms have actually solved the problem of scaling the fundamental human needs, basically. I mean, everybody wants to communicate, so that's why Skype managed to grow, because we needed to talk to each other beyond voice. You know, we needed to see each other, we needed to share documents. Yeah, you see. So it's important that, given this context where we are still doing the same things that the unevolved men did, we're still doing it, but obviously the tools are different now. And it's important that we also adopt and get new tools that make sense for our reality, right? So we haven't changed. Maslow's laws of hierarchy of needs still applies. And yeah, we're just looking at the 12 categories of shared human needs as well, you know? I mean, it's the same thing. It's just a continuation of Maslow, where we're saying that survival, subsistence is fundamental, and up to number 12 where you get to fulfillment, right? And contribution. So yeah, it's the same stuff. So you and Homo erectus or Homo habilis, we're still the same. We just wanted to survive. We wanted a sense of community. We want to be healthy. We want love and understanding, trust. We want identity, you know, to be identified, to be significant. We want to express ourselves. And I mean, YouTube has grown because people are expressing themselves. Some musicians like Justin Bieber might never have come out and blown out because they might not have been identified, but because of YouTube, they posted their videos there, and someone saw that and was like, wow, this child can sing, and took him over. So, you know, it's important that we have platforms that help us express ourselves and through our creativity and so forth. Yeah. Okay, then respect, autonomy, peace, leisure, growth, and fulfillment. So yeah, it's still the Maslow needs for human beings, and yeah, it still applies today, just like it applied 100 years ago, right? So, but how do we thrive in a network society, in a platform society, right? What kind of thinking should we have such that we'll be able to live fulfilling lives? We'll be able to not become robots in the process, or trying to emulate robots, but remain human, but not lagging behind. Yeah, you know, it's quite a tough one, right? So yeah, back in the days, remember the industrial age, people were working, but there was a lot of specialization. You find that on a factory plant, someone would know how to maybe just screw a button, the other one would know how to put on a wheel, the other one, you know, so it wasn't an end-to-end process that someone would know, but people knew bits and pieces of the process, you know. And it seems things are changing, you know. Even the skills required in jobs now, they're different. You can't just be an accountant, you know. You've got to be an accountant who knows data science, who can code. You need to be an accountant who knows how to deal with people, you know. You can't just be counting the dollars, you know. So it's important that we move away from the industrial age thinking where you were specialized in one thing, but you gotta be have a wide variety of skills. You gotta be flexible, but when you're required to go deep in any of those, you should be able to mutate and be flexible enough in order to achieve that depth as well, you know. So yeah, so industrial age thinking, which was very pipeline type thinking, you know, where the value chain was linear, it has changed a lot, you know. Now platforms, They've disaggregated power. They've disintermediated. Many middlemen type businesses have been affected because now it's easier to communicate with people directly in the States or in Europe, in Africa, everywhere. So yeah, so industrial age thinking should be out. And unfortunately, most of our schooling system is still very much grounded in industrial age thinking, and we have to try and change that. Right. So yeah, if you check, this is the industrial age type of workplace, and then if you look now, the emergent workplace, this is like an Uber place, right? Where we're saying, guys are sitting there in little pods, watching TV, playing games. They've got a bar at work. Everything looks so sleazy and amazing, right? Yeah, but they're still working, and they achieve lots of productivity, but the context is different, and also the competition for talent is even worse, right? So we have to think differently, even the setup of our classrooms, the setup of our workplaces, the setup of our homes, what it means to work, with the gig economy and stuff like that. You can work remotely from anywhere in the world. You can work for any company, and companies can even have people in all time zones, such that if it's night in America, their Chinese workforce is working, and then when they go to bed, the American workforce takes over, those kind of things. So it means that it allows us an opportunity to be more productive, right? As opposed to relying on physical infrastructure, we can now communicate and be fruitful even if we're not in the same space, Yeah. All right, so this is a brand list, but it's from a few years back, right? It's from a few years back. It's 2015 and now we're in 2019, but it's fine. It just shows you that the platforms are rising. They're coming up. Technology companies are taking over. They've been able to scale, and now I'll have to look for the new version of this one so that I can put it up, and you'll see that your Facebooks, your Amazons, and other platform companies have literally, and Tesla and them have literally overtaken 100-year-old companies which have been in operation for very long, you know what I mean? And you find a 5-year-old startup just going up like that. Alibaba, for example, is just grown in leaps and bounds. It's a multi-billion dollar company now, So our reality has changed, and we don't have to be in denial. We have to actually accept that, things are different, and we cannot remain the same. Okay, so what is platform thinking, right? Platform thinking is the art of conceptualizing and implementing inclusive spaces, both physical and virtual, where different actors can interact, communicate, co-create, and share value. So you find that there are certain attributes that you need to have for creating a platform, which is, number one, you need to be able to attract users, because according to Moore's law, is it Moore's law? Oh no, I don't remember whose law. Shucks. Right, I'll have to find that one out. Right, but you find that the more people come and the more they interact on the platform, the more valuable the platform becomes, right? And so a platform should definitely attract users, otherwise it's a ghost town, right? And then secondly, it should be able to facilitate the exchange of information, the exchange of value, right? And thirdly, co-creation of value is important, because the moment you have a one-sided creation, then it's a problem, where, for example, teachers only are the ones creating content, and then everyone else is a passive consumer of the content. Then that's a problem. So yes, there might be a course that has been created by a teacher, but students should be able to also create value, that is, add comments and likes and be participate in the ecosystem for it to be meaningful, right? So it's important to take these three attributes into consideration when trying to come up with a platform. And then also Um, learning models will need to change as well, because you find industrial age learning models that are linear, right, have changed. I mean, now I can take a course at MIT, right, through their MIT Open Courseware. I can take a course from any Ivy League university whilst I'm in Africa, because of Coursera, because of Udemy, Allison, MathG, all these different MOOC platforms, right? So I don't need a teacher per se, as in I don't need to go to a physical space with a teacher. I can actually learn alone, autonomously in my bedroom, right? And get the best information out there. Like what the economist Jeremy Rifkin talks about. He talks about the zero marginal cost of acquiring knowledge, to say that, I mean, information is now freely available and it's free. It's free. So we need to think our business models properly. We need to rethink how we view school, how we view information acquiring, consumption, and distribution, because everything has changed. So it's important that we understand this. And even with those emergent technologies like blockchain, they're even going to confuse the the ecosystem even further. So it's important that we understand these things, right? Then so you find, I mean, in the industrial age, like I said, processes were basically linear, right? And there were so many bottlenecks in the system, right? Because it was hierarchical. But now you find with platforms, there's democratization, there's flat structures where there's concurrency, and things can happen at the same time. You can have a million people talking on Facebook at the same time. You don't have to wait for one person and stuff like that, So that helps in terms of scaling. So yeah, so on platforms, you get to see that value is co-created, right? And learners are co-creators of knowledge. Products emerge through interaction. Value is appreciated by interaction as well, right? So that's what I was talking about. Say, the more the users, the more the activity on the platform, the more valuable the platform becomes, basically. And then the pipes, I mean, it's very linear, right? Upstream can't work without downstream, kind of thing. And there's a source of knowledge that is dissipating the knowledge to the assumed empty vessels, right? Like, when the teacher comes in and tells you what's going on in the world, and you have no idea, kind of thing. But that's not true, right? And yeah, so we are now in the platform world, right? So we gotta mutate. Let's become platform beings. And you should think also as yourself as a platform, because you can do many things simultaneously, right? Whilst talking on your phone, you can be typing on the laptop right now, doing something else, and so yeah, you are a platform as well as an individual, right? So it's important. So democratization of content has been driven mostly by social media. I think social media, what MySpace, Facebook, and the likes, Twitter, they've really revolutionized the way we think, as human beings. So yeah, we need to give them the kudos. We need to give them the respect there. Yeah. Okay, so what are the benefits of platform thinking, right? Platform is synonymous with network as well, right? So when I say network society, I'm talking about platform society as well, right? So networks, they afford us interoperability, because now we find with APIs, right? Application programming interfaces, different platforms can talk to each other seamlessly, and so interoperability is amazing. And also scalability, measurability. I mean, when back in the days when, say for example, radio stations were saying we have so many listeners, it was based on a crude estimation. But now, with online radio, for example, you can actually measure to say how many people were on the site, for how long, what did they do. So measurability has been enhanced by the internet, basically. So yeah, so it's a good thing, And there's greater autonomy and innovation, right? I mean, it's no secret that the barrier to entry has been lowered so much that anyone anywhere can innovate and come up with an online business. And yeah, you don't have to have some authority that you go ask for permission. You just do it, right? And that's amazing. Yeah, and confidence boosting and collaborative participation, right? So the internet has revolutionized the way we interact and has turned the world into one big virtual village, right? And then now, the possible challenges that we've seen, I mean, because with things going online, not everybody's online. There are some parts of South India, some parts of Africa where people are not yet connected. They don't have broadband, they don't have smartphones. So you find that not all stakeholders have adopted the online life, and they're missing out, right? And also, I mean, when you come up with a platform now, the problem is that spectrum of control. How much do you want to control people? Because if you look at platforms like Facebook now, they are suffering because people are doing weird things on their platforms. They try to remain neutral, but now they're forced to intervene and manage what people put in, because people would end up putting pornography, political rhetoric, and other bad things that these actors perform, right? So it's important that there has to be some level of control, but without infringing people's liberties to express themselves as well.